Well, good morning. It's a Wellness Wednesday. How you doing? Let's get this show started, right? We've got a lot to talk about today on this Wellness Wednesday. Good morning to you. If you're new to the show, I'm your host, Monica Adams. The show is The Real Monica Adams Show. And today we're going to talk about a lot of things. One, are we overdoing supplements? I saw that in the news just a couple of weeks ago. And then yesterday seemed a little alarming to me. I was looking at several of the national and local news stories, and it had to do with lead in our protein powders. What? We're going to talk about all of that today. And cold plunging. Are you doing it yet? Are you a little apprehensive? Is it hard to even tip your toe into that? How cold is the water? We've got so much to talk about with regards to cold plunging, as well as a little contrast therapy. I have a friend in Canada who's been doing it for years, and she just gets right into the water. And I'm not talking about the actual, the ones that you buy, but right into the lakes and the streams. I mean, obviously, she's got it right there in Canada. So she's like, Monica, come on, you got to get on board this. However, from a medical standpoint, are there people that can't do it? According to my general practitioner, he wasn't a big fan of me doing it because of heart conditions. And you all know I have a really pretty severe blood clotting condition. But in my head, I thought it would be good for it. So we're going to talk about all of that. We've got Angi Hess from Spas and More coming up with us in just a second. Before we get to that, for those of you in our local St. Louis, Missouri, Southern Illinois area, I'm going to give you the forecast. This way you don't have to turn into the news. We give you everything that you need. It is going to be amazing. In fact, right as we wrap up the show, I'm heading out to walk the dogs before it gets too hot. Yeah, can you believe that? I'm talking too hot on October 15th. 85 degrees, partly sunny today, down to 61 tonight. Tomorrow, 83, staying with the low to mid 80s as we go into Friday. And then we've all been talking about the rain and the storms that are possible on Saturday. Still a few days out to see what area is it going to hit, but 77 on Saturday. And some forecasts were showing the possibility of the rain even into Sunday. It is definitely going to be changing temperature wise. We're going to go from 85 today down to 67 for a high on Sunday, and expect it to be breezy as well. You see the low on Saturday night, 52, all the way down to 47 Sunday night. And we get into next week, still beautiful weather Monday and Tuesday, slight rain chance on Wednesday. And then we get into the upper 60s for our highs as we head into the following weekend. So again, we're a few days out, as I mentioned. We'll keep an eye on that forecast into Saturday, and we will be checking in with our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, on Friday to see if, in fact, that rain is going to be developing, and if so, just how severe. Because a couple days ago, I was listening to some of the meteorologists, and they were saying that we could have some pretty severe weather on Saturday. But now it's kind of up in the air as to where that would be hitting. All right, let me say good morning to all of you. We are literally just getting started. Julie, good morning. Someone lightening their hair. I didn't actually lighten my hair. It's from Cabo. I just went to Mexico. My hair was more of a caramel look, but this is from the sun in Mexico. Good morning, Julie and Sean. Good morning, Gabriel. Let's all wish Gabriel the best. He wasn't feeling his best yesterday. That's why our wonderful friend, Michelle Harmon, she just happened to stop by the studio yesterday to drop something off, and immediately threw her cape on, swooped in, and saved the day. So Michelle, thank you for that. Gabriel, hope you're feeling better. Kathleen, good morning to you. We are on multiple platforms. Let's go. Mary Beth Marshall is over on Instagram right now. We've got, somebody, Evans PVC. For those of you that don't know, I try to say good morning to as many of you as possible on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, Instagram. We are on all those platforms, and the platforms are growing, by the way. And then we have our podcast. Do you know about the podcast? On Thursdays at 8 a.m., our audio podcast drops. And this Thursday, we are going to air, for those of you that missed the video talk show yesterday, Drew Davis and David Wellborn. Did you see yesterday's show? And if you didn't get a chance to see Kelly Clarkson, I'm going to show you the video from her show. It was such an incredible surprise to Drew. And so a lot of you might be going, oh, I missed yesterday's show. It was a good one. Drew Davis, who has cerebral palsy, and he started and launched a hot sauce brand called the Crippling Hot Sauce. And now 7-figure business after being told by his business teacher that his idea was unrealistic. This is what I'm saying. When people like step in your way and say, you can't do that, or that's never going to work, or it's unrealistic, he used that as fuel, which I absolutely love. So I'll show you that video coming up in just a little bit. Okay, we're going to talk about wellness today. All right, we've got a lot of things that I want to discuss. First and foremost, cold plunging. I want to know how many of you are doing it. Secondly, supplements. Now, I grabbed a handful. Okay, so a lot of you probably start your day with something like this, right? A protein powder. I happen to love this one. It's from Power Life. It's plant-based protein. It's kind of the theme this week. We're kind of giving a break to some animal protein and digestion in our bodies. For our Foodie Friday, we're actually going to make a vegan-based chili. And I know some of you are like, what? Chili? It has to have meat in it. Okay, but if some of you want to give a break, and I'm not saying go all in vegan. I'm not vegan, but there are times where I will opt for a vegan dish just from digestion. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Rose. So this is a plant-based protein. It's actually a chocolate flavor from Tony Horton. You remember Tony from the P90X fame with Beachbody? He now has his own line. He has his own workouts. Love the guy. I really do. He's been on our show before, but this is Power Life by Tony Horton. So this is one that I have. A lot of you probably support one of our biggest local protein powders, which is First Form. This one's from Lifetime when I used to work out there. This is whey, sea salt caramel, but I'm going to be looking at these ingredients as we figure this out together because, again, as I mentioned, in the national news just the other day, talking about protein powders and shakes containing high levels of lead. Now, this is definitely news you can use. Consumer Reports came out with it just 24 hours ago, Forbes, as well as the Today Show, CBS News. So we're going to be talking about that and doing a deep dive into that in just a few minutes. Let's see. Rose said, Monica, I had those earrings on yesterday. I get so many compliments on them. Did you get these from Jay Bloom? I had Jenny Gabriel, who comes on with us every other Monday. She's like, hey, I know you recently did a modeling shoot for the fall winter catalog for Jay Bloom. She asked me if do I sell them? I don't. And so I really probably should partner up with someone that did. I know someone on my team was going to do it, but I'm not sure if she ever went all in. So if any of you are interested in Jay Bloom, because you just talked about it, Rose, I will let you know if you want to just go directly and then they'll set you up with someone that can be your designer. Jay Bloom, by the way, is right here in our area. And I know a lot of Jay Bloom designers all across the country that watch our show now since we did our Mobile Monica at Jay Bloom. Jennifer Bonacorsi is the owner of Jay Bloom, and we absolutely love her. You got him as a gift. Oh, well, they got him from Jay Bloom, by the way. You want to see him, everybody? Aren't they adorable? She's got several, and you're going to be seeing new ones in my ears probably by Friday because I'm going to pick up some more. So Jay Bloom, shout out to Jay Bloom. We absolutely love them. All of you designers, for those of you that don't know, Gabriel will drop in how you can follow Jay Bloom because, again, yes, although she makes them right here in St. Louis, she designs them right here in our area. They are all throughout the country. There are people literally all over the place that work with her. Okay, it is 7:08. So I gave you kind of a brush stroke of what we're going to do today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to visit with our wonderful Angi Hess, the owner of Spas and More right here in our area. We've been talking to her about a lot of things with hot tubs, with saunas, with cold plunging, again, going from the sauna to the cold plunge back and forth, the benefits of that. I'm going to make Angi get in the cold plunge while we're doing the interview. Okay, that's a first. So don't go anywhere. That's coming up for you next. All right, folks. Cold plunging. Do you know anything about it? Spas and More is what we're going to talk about today. At Spas and More STL. This is where you can follow them on social media. Spasandmorestl.com is their website, and their location is 12957 Gravois Road. They're in Sunset Hills. They're open for you Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I want you to head over there and check out the showroom and see what makes the most sense to you. Okay, I'm not in it, but she's going to be. Good morning, Angi Hess.
Good morning. How are you?
She's over on the side. You can hear her. And why is she over on the side? Because we're going to make her get in that cold plunge. First of all, how have you been?
I've been great. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Just again, relaxed and rejuvenated, invigorated. All of that from our Cabo days. I got
Yep.
into the water, the pool, of course, looking out at the ocean. Did it, but it was beautiful. It was perfect temperature. It wasn't cold. There are a lot of people, though, for years now that have been doing cold plunges. Angi, why do we do cold plunges?
So, cold plunging is becoming fairly new as far as a daily concept. It's something that's always been used by athletes as far as reducing inflammation and helping pain for and recovering from injury. But now, as far as health benefits, it gives you a lot of different types of benefits other than just pain reduction and inflammation reduction. It helps you lower your cortisol. It helps increase your metabolism. It actually helps. Change white fat in your body that stores fat that allows you to that like helps promote weight gain. It converts it to brown fat, and brown fat is what increases your energy and increases your body to actually burning the fat, and then increases your metabolism. So it's becoming a new thing, becoming part of everybody's daily life as a way to help improve their health and mental state.
It must have, because again, I've known about cold plunging for a while. But actually, if you go back, if you're an athlete and you played any sports in high school, they probably, when you had an injury, put you in an ice bath. Okay, I want to know, how similar is it to our coaches putting us in ice baths, Angi, to having these cold plunges that we can have at our home?
It's very similar. The only thing is you don't have to worry about adding 20 bags of ice or whatever to it. You can actually set it at whatever temperature you want. This one here in particular today is sitting right at 40 degrees.
Okay, so 40 degrees. Now, some of you might be tuning in going, wait a minute, I do not want to get in 40-degree temperature. Okay, but I hear the benefits of it. I do have inflammation, or I do have an injury, or I do have trauma, et cetera, et cetera. How in the world am I ever going to get up the nerve to be able to say, I'm going to do this? So, Angi, the very first time you ever did a cold plunge, how hard was it for you to get in?
It was very hard. It was a new concept for us to start selling. So it's like, well, if I'm going to sell it or present it, I need to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm not one to go in and, do anything easy. So the first time I jumped in for 5 minutes. Um,
Wait a minute. Okay,
but
you're not,
but to put it that way, to do that, I actually had worked like 35 days in a row without a day off, and because of my health issues, I had my feet were double their size, my knees were in constant pain, my hips were bad. So it's like I really needed it. So I was like, okay, let's see what this can actually do. So I went all in. After
most
I got
people
out for the
don't.
next 48 hours, it's like I could move better than I had in years.
Well,
So I mean, I was a winner. I was it sold me on the first one.
Absolutely, and you're so right. I mean, we all, if we're going to walk the walk, talk the talk, we got to go all in. She went in right away and did 5 minutes. Most people, though, Angi, their first introduction is for how long?
So usually 30 seconds to a minute, and realistically, it's not at 40 degrees. It's at 50 to 60 degrees. Even when Michael Phelps started, he
Yep.
didn't start at 40 degrees.
Uh,
um, the
Look at
nice thing
you, you're
about
stronger than Michael.
I'm sorry.
I said, look at you, you're stronger than Michael.
Apparently. um, the nice thing about our unit is it will go from 104 as like a hot tub all the way down to the 38-degree mark. So realistically, when you start, you can start at a comfortable temperature, 60, 65, and then slowly work your way down as you increase your time so that you don't jump all in and be kind of crazy like I am.
All right. Well, we're going to make her get in as we're talking about the benefits. She just showed you, just to be real, that it is 40 degrees. I want to know, all of you that are watching here live or you watch later, have you cold plunge? And if so, How has it benefited you? Okay, so I'm going to start the timer. Angie, go ahead and get in. This is a
Okay.
first, by the way. We've never done this before. She got into the sauna for us last time and we overheated her camera.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you want me to get in? I'm like, oh, yes. And this time, well, we'll see. We might freeze out the camera. So 40 degrees. This is Angie Hess, as you can see, Spas and More owner. And you didn't even flinch. You took it like a pro. Oh, there we go. There's the deep breath. So the aspect of getting into a cold plunge is all about regulating your breathing, right, Angie?
It is very much so. You can say it's a fight or flight response when you first get in. So your body wants to jump out. You want to try to breathe really heavy. And it makes you feel like you're almost losing your breath. So once you're able to get in and you're able to regulate your breathing, it makes things a lot smoother for you.
So
So
I can hear it in your voice when she first got in. It's what you all would probably expect of a, whew, okay, hold on, I
right.
got to get my breathing underway. But I looked down at the timer. It only took you about 30 seconds for me to hear the change in you being okay with this. How often do you cold plunge?
Realistically, it's been a while. Try to once a week. But my schedule lately hasn't been allowing it. So I'll tell you, it's probably been a good month since I've been in here.
Okay, well, see that's why the body was trying to figure that out. If you're just tuning in and you're like, "That's Angie," I can't see Angie's head because she just jumped in, but Angie Hess, Spas and More owner. There we go. If you tilt down just a little bit, we can see you a little bit better. She's
Yep.
in the cold plunge, and as you had mentioned, Angie, there are a lot of people that are purchasing these. This was new. When did you start selling these at Spas and More?
2023 was when we got our first ones in.
And so, what are you hearing from most people when they're first thinking about doing this?
It was, oh God, I can't do that. I can't get in the cold water. And it's like, well, I mean, you don't have to get in the cold water like I am. Like I said, I'm one of those people. I do the hard things first. I never take it easy.
Right?
So,
Yep.
um, but it's all about the benefits. It's what you need in your life to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
So, people are turning to cold plunging more and more, not for any type of recovery, but for those benefits, especially as mental health becomes more and more to the forefront of everybody's focus point because we've lost so many people to suicide or anything that they're having those issues. Is becoming less of a stigma. More people are doing those things to help
Right.
with their mental health. And this is one of those things that can actually help with your mental health.
Again, we're talking about physical health, mental health, all of that. You can meditate in this once you regulate. So we're looking also at people doing contrast therapy. So if they're doing the contrast therapy side, Angie, they're in each the cold plunge and the sauna for how long?
So you start with 1 to 2 minutes in the cold plunge, and then 2 to 3 minutes in the sauna, and then you taper your time down, going back and forth to each of it. Um, you would do the cold plunge first, and then you would warm yourself in the sauna, and then go back. The nice thing is when you're walking kind of back and forth, you kind of get yourself up to room temperature just a little bit before you get the shock of the heat, and vice versa.
And
So.
again, I know tons of friends that are doing it. I'm looking at the timer for her, by the way. She's 3 minutes, 20 seconds in since she stepped in for us. I just saw Julie say, oh my God, I'm not sure if I could do that. That is the response from pretty much everyone that I've ever seen get in one. And then they usually have a coach or someone that's done it for a while that says, don't jump out, don't jump out. Just calm down, get the mind to calm down, and then you help them through the breathing. How many people come into the showroom and then you have them actually get in?
We've had one or two people test. Actually, we just had somebody come in yesterday and do one, and it's all about the breath work. She was like, I was ready to jump out, and I would have had you not sat there and told me to calm down and looked at me and told me to, breathe in and, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Breath work is huge when it comes to dealing with a cold plunge.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're doing 40 degrees, and she's got 50 seconds left, by the way, before we let her get out of there. Most people, if you have them just starting, what temperature would you say that you would recommend?
I would say usually about 60 degrees would be a
Okay.
good starting point.
And so for those of us, and I just did it for you this morning, and you're going to be like, it is not the same, Monica. I took my shower and then turned it to cold at the end. That's maybe how we can kind of start to introduce ourselves. But I've heard about the benefits of that for a long time,
Hmm.
mental
Yeah, very
trauma,
much so.
brown fat, etc. But it's not the same as immersing your entire body down into it.
Right.
So she's a pro. Okay, you got 15 seconds, my friend. Spas and more. Again, cold plunging, swim spas, saunas, hot tubs. They have all of that for you. Less than 10. We're going to count it down for you so you can get out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Angie's been in there for 5 minutes. How do you feel, Ange?
Right now, my feet are numb, but I'm good.
I love it. That was so much fun. Angie, thank you so much. Again, let me tell you where Spas and More is. You're so awesome. Spas and More located for you. Again, if you're outside of our area, but you know somebody that lives in St. Louis, tell them about Spas and More. I love it. Spas and More located in Sunset Hills. Isn't she a pro? Can we all, again, if you were all here, I would have you clapping for her. Any questions for them, you can call 314-843-7727. Again, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. They are closed on Sunday. At Spas and More STL, you can see all the beautiful hot tubs, cold plunges, saunas that they have for you on their social media pages. spasandmorestl.com is their website. Wasn't that fun? I love it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. So if a cold plunge is for you, that is where I want you to get it from. Support those that support us. That was so much fun. All right, lead in our protein powders. Well, that's what we're hearing. We're going to talk about that when we return.
I was just on the Real Monica Adams show, and it was really a good experience for me. When I walked in, the building is just peaceful. The environment is beautiful here. Monica really made me feel welcome.
The Monica Adams show allows people to be themselves. It's really important to share kindness, to be real, to offer stories and things that will give people hope and a reason to smile.
Rather than waking up aggravated, disappointed, and wondering, where's this earth going, choose to wake up with something that'll put your mind and your heart in the right direction. Start with Monica.
I like that. Tony Twist, by the way, one of several athletes that we have had on this show, and definitely one of my favorites. He is brilliant, by the way, if you didn't know that. So Tony Twist, the enforcer from the St. Louis Blues. Reed Lowe's been on the show. Our wonderful Kelly Chase. Can we give prayers to Kelly? Boy, he has been beaten up. And as Tony has mentioned on the show before, Kelly is definitely one of the toughest. I mean, we knew him on the ice as being a tough battler, right? But he has battled cancer like a pro, but he still needs all of our prayers as he has still quite a fight ahead of him. So Tony Twist, Reed Lowe, Kelly Chase, I love you all. Is there an athlete, by the way, that you would love for us to have on the show? Let me know, and we'll look into getting those on. All right. Welcome back again, the Real Monica Adams Show. We went literally all in. If you just tuned in, you missed a cold plunge live on the air with Angi Hess. And I know a lot of you are saying, way to go. Thanks, Angie. Yeah, she did it for you and she took it like a pro. 5 minutes in there. I'm going to tell you right now, I know people that cold plunge and they're lucky to get in for 30 seconds because they can't get their breathing under control. In fact, another athlete we had on was Travis Snyder, a former former Major League Baseball player, played for several teams. He came on with us. He was talking about our children, coaching, as well as parenting, and how so much is pushed on our kids. Need to have him back on. But Travis, if you follow him on social media, he regularly cold plunges and talks about the importance of, again, taking care of his body after all those years playing in Major League Baseball. So he's a big fan of cold plunging. I know that for sure. Okay, so we go from cold plunging and we're going to go into our protein powders. As I mentioned, I just pulled a couple. I do have some from First Form. I have some from Lifetime. I have some from my dear friend, Tony Horton, from, again, he's now with Power Life, but he used to be with P90X and Beachbody. His plant protein. So are the plant proteins better than the animal proteins, etc.? This is what you're here for. Trust me, because I know a lot of you wake up. In fact, when the show ends, I was going to make a protein shake. I love it. I put a little almond butter or peanut butter in it. Might mix in some greens for the phytonutrient aspect, depending on what the makeup of the protein powder is. So, Rose, let's get Pink on. I'm trying to get her for you. Rose, hey, I've been trying to interview that woman for many, many years. So, yes, reach out to her team. She and I would be so good together. I mean, I've seen a lot of interviews, but I just think we have so much similar as far as our heart is concerned, what we want for the world, our goofiness. She's brilliant. She's a wonderful winemaker as well. In fact, for Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, which we do every other Wednesday at Defiance Ridge Vineyards, and then on the alternate Wednesdays, I will grab sometimes friends, family members. If any of you would ever like to join a Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, talk about bourbons, tequilas, rums, vodkas, wine, beer, mocktails, doesn't matter. It's just an extra bonus show for you that we do at 4:00 in the afternoon. And we have had and featured Two Wolves Wine on the show in the past. So depending on what Jim's day is like, I might have him join me 4:00 this afternoon. Join us and let's tip a glass together and cheers to the world. So yes, Gabriel, somehow say something to Pink to get her on the show, because we've been trying since my channel 2 days, my channel 5 days, and definitely for almost 3 years now, trying to get her on the show. Somehow, either that, I'm going to Napa in February. So if somebody wants to try to get a meet and greet together with her, and I'd love that. I'd love to go by her winery, which is not regularly open to the public. And she's not in Napa, by the way. She's in the Santa Barbara area. Two Wolves Wine, look it up. She just had her fall release. You have to get on the list. And it's not like, I've been on it for many, many years, and people might think, oh, if I try to get on now, I'm going to be below all these other people that are waiting. No, it's really kind of like a lottery now. So if you want to try to get into her allocations, you can do so, and you don't have to have been on it for years. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, some people are like, well, that's not fair. I've been on it for years. Hey, that's life, right? That's how things work sometimes. Okay, so if you are just tuning in, as I mentioned, protein powders and shakes containing what? Lead. Yes, this is just one of many articles that are out right now in the last 24 hours. This particular one happens to be from Consumer Reports. You can see it right there. Protein supplements are wildly popular. However, Consumer Reports tests of 23 products found that more than 2/3 of them contain more lead in a single serving than the experts are saying is safe to have in a day. It's been 15 years since Consumer Reports last tested for lead in protein powders and shakes. This time, the average level of lead was higher. Fewer products contain undetectable amounts of it. So much has changed, they said. Yet for all the industry's growth and rebranding, one thing hasn't changed. Protein powders still carry troubling levels of toxic heavy metals. This is according to a new Consumer Reports investigation, which again, you're seeing right there on your screen. So it's alarming. American has an obsession with protein powders. A lot of people, they either make them on their own, or many of you do what? You say, well, forget it. Instead of me taking all those powders like I'm seeing on the screen, I'm just going to run by and have somebody make it for me. What the heck? How do you think Smoothie King and different coffee shops and tea shops, etc., have gotten even more business because they now include smoothies on their menus? But does this alarm you? For more than 2/3 of the products that they analyzed with Consumer Reports, a single serving contained more lead than Consumer Reports food safety experts say is safe to consume in a day. Sometimes they say 10 times more. So according to the food safety researcher, they said, and I quote, "It's concerning that these results are even worse than the last time we tested." So why do you think this is being allowed? A lot of you are frustrated by what the FDA allows in our food, in our dog's food, in baby food. This time, in addition to the average level of lead being higher than what they found 15 years ago, there were also fewer products with undetectable amounts of it. The outliers also packed a heavier punch. lunch. Naked Nutrition's vegan mass gainer powder, the product with the highest lead levels, had nearly twice as much lead per serving as the worst product that they analyzed in 2010. So I'm going to say it once again. I want you to go to your cabinets. Do you have Naked Nutrition's vegan mass gainer powder? They advise against daily use for most protein powders since many have high levels of heavy metals. None are necessary to hit our protein goals. So this is going to go back to me introducing you to different dietitians that I absolutely love. Jennifer McDaniel, Rashonda Thornton, who we've had on in the past. Now we have our wonderful Jenny Gabriel. I'm going to want to ask Jenny what she thinks about this. If she watches live or if she watches this later, what are her thoughts? Because again, she's in that field. In fact, the person who tested said nearly all the plant-based products had elevated lead levels, but some were particularly concerning. Okay, so if you're just tuning in and you're like, hey, what are we talking about today? We're talking about supplementation. And do we overdo it? Do we even need this? So do you have any questions, comments? Feel free to drop a comment in. I see my friend Kasha, who I was just talking about, cold plunging. You just missed the live cold plunge. If you're still on, Kasha, what are your thoughts? Because she's in the wellness field like I am. If you're still on over at Instagram, I'll keep popping on. What do you think about the Consumer Reports again, research on this? And it's not just Consumer Reports. It's literally every news channel you can think of. The Today Show, I'll read you from them in just a second. CBS News talking about this. So here is your breakdown. Okay. So there's some that are particularly concerning. 2 had so much lead that Consumer Reports experts caution against using them at all. A single serving of these protein powders contained between 12 and 1,600% of Consumer Reports level of concern for lead, which is 0.5 micrograms per day. 2 others had between 4 and 600% of that level per daily serving. Consumer Reports is recommending limiting those to once a week. Okay, so the lead levels in plant-based products, I mentioned, this is what I have here. This is the one from Power Life. So in the plant-based ones, on average, 9 times the amount found in those made with dairy proteins like whey, and twice as great as beef-based ones. Okay, we're all scratching our heads saying, what the heck are we supposed to do? Go back to whole foods. That's the answer. Dairy-based protein powders and shakes generally had the lowest amounts of lead, but half of the products they tested still had high enough levels of contamination that their experts advise against daily use. This is literally blowing a lot of your minds, I bet you, because a lot of you are saying, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be healthy. I thought that I could get some protein powder in a shake first thing in the morning, rush out. You either do that, or I bet you, as I mentioned, I've got something for everyone and I'm looking into them all. So we're not saying that one that I have in my hand, I'm trying to bash. No, I just grabbed what I had in my own cabinet because I like to be real for you. So I've got something from Lifetime. I've got something from Tony Hortons. I've got right here our own local company, First Form. Yes, I do this because why? We've been talking about rushing woman's syndrome in the last week. All of us rush, rush, rush. We are underfueling. We are overworking. We're stressed out. We're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. We've got brain fog, all of that we talked about on Monday. But for those of us that are in the rushing woman's syndrome, which is very hot topic right now, by the way, you are trying to fuel and you're grabbing something like this. And is it working against us? Well, that's what it appears. So again, live, if you have any questions, you have any comments, feel free to drop them in for me right now, whether you are watching on Instagram, Facebook. I know a lot of you have to pop on and off sometimes as you're rushing off to work or you're taking your kiddos to school, but I'd love for you to ask any questions. And I'm going to go and have a deep dive into this with, again, either Jenny, Rashonda. Those are my experts in the field of dietitian and nutrition. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. What I am talking about right now is lead in your protein powders and higher levels than are recommended. And in fact, in some of these, alarming levels. As you heard, 10 times, 9 times over. So consumers often assume that supplements deliver health benefits without risk. That's according to an associate professor of medicine at Harvard. He said that's not true. And Consumer Reports experts agree. For many people, there's more to lose than you're gaining. They suggest suggests that regular users of protein supplements consider reducing their consumption. So I will tell you that I have less and less been using protein powders like I used to. I actually have a client of mine who said, Monica, I want you to be careful because for her, she found out from her doctor that it was causing kidney stones for her. And again, everybody's makeup, biological makeup is different. But I want to know, have you had any issues? Have you ever been told by a physician, hey, you're using too much? When you go to your doctor, they ask you to list the medications you're using, but they also ask about vitamins and supplements. Some of them have contraindications. Others could be creating a problem for the condition that you have. And then some, as we're hearing today, just in the last 24 hours, are amazing, causing maybe some of us issues. Good morning, Ron. So a lot of you are just sitting and watching and listening. Unlike prescription and over-the-counter drugs, the Food and Drug Administration doesn't review, approve, or test supplements like protein powders before they're sold. And that's the problem. Federal regulations also don't generally require supplement makers to prove their products are safe, and there are no federal limits for the amount of heavy metals that they can contain. And while no amount of lead is technically safe, the greatest danger comes from repeated or continuous exposure, particularly at high doses. That is a comment from the Associate Professor of Medicine and Physician at Cambridge Health Alliance in Massachusetts. Children and pregnant people, most vulnerable because lead can damage the developing brain and the nervous system, which has the potential to cause neurological issues, learning delays, behavioral problems. But chronic lead exposure has also been linked to immune suppression, reproductive problems, kidney damage, high blood pressure in adults. Lead lingers in the body, so even small amounts, they add up over time and contribute to health risks. And unlike some other foods that Consumer Reports tested for heavy metals, like chocolate, bubble tea, protein powder isn't usually treated as an occasional indulgence. It is a daily practice for many of us. And some people even say, I haven't really, again, I've underfueled, so I'm going to put 2 protein powders. I'm going to load up. I'm going to have more. I'm going to try to get 50 grams, 60 grams, which by the way, the body can only break down so much and the rest goes out in your waste, right? Urine. In waste, period. So that doesn't even make any sense. For those of you though that are thinking, thought I was doing myself good. This is what you're hearing in the last 24 hours. For many people, it's part of your daily routine, right? Some products are even marked as complete meal replacements, with super fans bragging in online forums about surviving on nothing but these powders for weeks or months at a time. They're eating no actual whole food sources, and and it's become very popular, by the way, with our younger generation. So we're talking Gen X, Gen Z, millennials. I think it really started, more so with our generation. Then we introduced baby boomers to it and even older. Hey, mom, grandma, yeah, start your day with protein shakes. Now it's like, whoa, put on the brakes. Compounding the problem is the exploding popularity of protein fortified foods. Go up and down the aisle of any grocery store. Protein popcorn, protein pretzels. That's where it got out of hand. And when we had our dietitians on in the past, they were like, no. In fact, I think it was Jen McDaniel that was on with us. And she's like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing all the snacks that are drawing you in. Because again, they're saying what? Oh, this is protein ice cream. No, she's like, can you just eat whole foods? Snacks, beverages, like drinks, again, besides the shakes that we're using, already prepackaged for you. It's designed, again, to mask. A lot of them have a ton of sugars in them. And now we're finding out that, again, now they have lead. So according to the director of food policy from Consumer Report, they said, quote, the FDA can take action if it finds unsafe lead levels, but the lack of enforceable standards means it doesn't happen nearly enough. And the lack of funding and staff makes the problems even worse. Establishing enforceable limits in foods and supplements would go a long way in protecting consumers. So for the tests, Consumer Reports selected a range of best-selling dairy, beef, plant-based protein supplements, including protein powders and ready-to-drink protein shakes. So I'm going to take a quick break. If you have any comments, you have any questions, good morning, Karen. A lot of you are just taking this in. Some of you might be jumping in the car right now and listening. Please don't look down while we're doing this, but I am giving you definite wake-up calls, right? As this is the biggest news you can use that I can give you, because so many of us on a regular basis use protein powders. So there's so much more that was in to what what was researched by Consumer Reports. And again, the articles run rampant today. CBS News, Today's Show, Consumer Reports, Forbes Magazine. I could go on and on. It is one of the biggest stories in the last 24 hours. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? Do you go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
When you want to feel good, you work out at Crunch. You don't go here, because here feels bad. But here we help you feel good, feel strong, feel rejuvenated.
Join Crunch Fitness today.
And welcome back. And we do want to thank Crunch Fitness, just one of our many sponsors. And I do have a giveaway this month. We've done several giveaways. Congratulations to so many of you that have already won your 1-year membership. And you're sitting there going, wait, what? 1 year? How? Absolutely free. All you have to do is drop in a comment and say, I want to be in the Crunch drawing. I want to take my health back, something like that, right? You can put it in the comment section, or you can email me, info@therealmonicaadams.com. We are giving away to several of you a 1-year membership. And so I know Julie Fabian won, Jennifer Bonacorsi. We had Cindra Smith, Michael, I forget his last name. Anyway, we've had 4 winners so far. So we have a giveaway on Friday for the month of October. And again, they have locations in our area. You do have to be in St. Louis, by the way. I do have to say that. So if those of you that might be in another area, sorry, this is for all of our St. Louis, Southern Illinois, for those that want to work out in Florissant, St. Peters, Fenton, Baldwin. Fenton is coming. So Baldwin, St. Peters, Florissant are already there for you. I love the one in Baldwin. Let's see. Okay, let's go to some comments. Julie said, I only use natural stuff. If you're just tuning in and going, okay, what's the topic today? Well, we talked about cold plunging already, and I asked you, feel free to drop in a comment. Do you cold plunge? And if so, how has it benefited you? We're also talking about our food. More importantly, supplementation. Do we overdo it? This is a topic that I'm going to go deep into. In fact, I think this is a continuing series because so many of us, and I'm including myself, I mean, you saw, I have it right here. I was at Deerberg's the other day. Pick this up because my team knows that I just go. I do have rushing woman syndrome, bad, trying to break myself of it, but I run out of the house and I'll grab this. But am I doing more harm than good? This, grabbing a protein bar, or this, blending up a shake, putting a little peanut butter in it, putting some bananas in it. Those are the whole foods, but it's the ingredient of the protein powder that could be causing more harm than good. Rose says, my hubby is listening to you, and he said lead in protein powder is scary. It is. We've done our positive talk time segments, which, by the way, we have another one coming up with Jessica Cook this Thursday. And I think some of the most powerful informational shows with her have been talking about what the FDA allows in dog food, jet fuel, embalming fluid. I mean, come on. Why is this allowed? That is what needs to be discussed. And we have got to get someone. I know that Kennedy is trying to do that in our current administration to clean things up. We've got to. The fact that it was even allowed in the first place is what really ticks me off. Rose said people need to read labels. Well, always. Exactly. I'm so big on that. There's so many chemicals and junk and stuff, including stuff for your house. Yep. We talked about that in the past. She said, for example, I tell my friends to quit using Glade plugins, get educated. So what's wrong with the Glade plugins, by the way, Rose? My son is a food product police. He's a pain sometimes, but he's right and he shares his knowledge. Thank you, Monica, for talking about this. You're welcome. Do me a favor, Rose. So there are a lot of people, and we're not just going to signal out Glade. Those plugins in general, are they really, really bad for us? Is it chemicals that are in them that we are breathing in? I mean, just in general, what's in our world as we go into businesses, what's allowed is what's frustrating to me. Why can't we have more natural things? Julie said, I only use natural stuff. Donna Baker, I love it. Haven't cold plunged yet, but do use vitamins and gummies, etc. This is good to know. Okay, Donna, I'm going to say that's the other thing. I've talked to a lot of nutritionists and dietitians, and they're not a fan of the gummies because there's a lot of sugars in those. So we have to really dig and research. And this is why a lot of dietitians and nutrition practitioners, that's why people seek them out, because they need their help. They're like, look, I'm lost here. I am trying to do my best to be healthier, but every time I turn around, and it's not fear mongering, it really is just education. So I promise to go a little more in depth for you. Okay, so look at your screen here. This is from Consumer Reports. And if you are just tuning in, we're talking about lead. In the last 24 hours, a big article coming out in several CBS News, the Today Show, Forbes. I'm reading from Consumer Reports. And these are the products. If you want to take snapshots or just hang on to the show, share like crazy. I want to see some crazy shares on today's show because I want people to check their cabinets to see if they have these. So this is from Consumer Reports, folks, okay? Products to avoid. I mentioned Naked Nutrition Vegan Mass Gainer earlier. The serving size, 315 grams, 6 scoops. So 1,572% level of concern for lead per serving. So you can see the daily max all the way down there on the left side of that horseshoe. The weekly max, look how high this one is. Huel Black Edition, serving size is 90 grams, which is 2 scoops. The fact, first of all, that Naked Nutrition is saying that a serving size is 6 scoops blows my mind. I mean, normally it should be like 1 or 2. What do I have here? Okay, these say 2. So one of mine says 2 level scoops. The other one, 2 scoops. 2 is what I normally see. But Huel Black Edition, 1,288% Consumer Report level of concern for lead. So those are the biggest concerns and the products to absolutely avoid according to Consumer Reports. Then Consumer Reports says they recommend limiting these two to once a week. Garden of Life, I know a lot of people that use Garden of Life. Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein. Their serving size is 45 grams. That's 2 scoops. So it's 564% concern as opposed to 1,500 to 1,200. Momentous, that's also a plant-based protein. That's 1 scoop with just a shy of 38 grams, 476% concern for lead. And a lot of you are like, what? There's lead in my food? Yes. So these are okay to eat occasionally. Muscle Meds Carnivore Mass, 191 grams. 4 scoops. That's a lot of protein. I'm going to tell you right now. Your body cannot take all that in. Optimum Nutrition Serious Mass. That's 2 scoops at 340 grams. Jocko Fuel. That's Molt Protein Shake. That's 199%. Vega, which is a premium sport plant-based protein. That is 185% concern. Okay, here I wanted to get to because a lot of you run into a gas station or a grocery store and you grab these Quest ready, shake them up, drink them, protein shake, so you don't even have to do the blending. 161% concern for lead, but much, much lower than the 1,500 and 1,200%. Organic plant-based protein powder, 143%. So that's, again, about 4 3/4 servings per week limit. Optimum Nutrition, Equip Foods, Plant Fusion, Ensure. I saw that on the Today Show yesterday. Muscle Milk. I'm actually happy to see this. Pro Advanced Nutrition Protein Shake. That's only got 128%. And then KOS, Organic Superfood Plant Protein. Again, if you just tuned in, I'm showing you this. This is okay to eat occasionally. And then Better Choices. So for those of you that are watching this right now, we're going to get into Better Choices now from Consumer Reports. So OWYN, it's a Pro Elite High Protein Shake. Transparent Labs Mass Gainer. Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard 100% Whey. I've bought that one a lot. BSN Syntha 6 Protein Powder. These are, again, better choices for daily consumption. For those of you that want to do a protein shake, again, first thing in the morning. Momentous Whey Protein Isolate and Dymatize Super Mass Gainer, as well as Muscle Tech. So this is all from Consumer Reports. As you are just tuning in and you are watching and you're thinking, what did I miss? Go back. It's very important. Again, as I mentioned, don't keep it to yourself either. This is a really good show for you to do this. Share and remember to like and follow our pages, no matter what platform that you are watching on. You share on your platform and then tell people that they can find us on 7 different platforms. Again, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Instagram. We go on live every morning at 7 a.m. Always something fun, educational, informational. We inspire you. We give you hope and back from, again, the negativity of the world. And a lot of you need news you can use. And this is one of the greatest that we have passed along to you. Prior to publication, by the way, Consumer Report contacted the manufacturers of all 23 products that they tested, and I just ran through for you, and shared with them their results and their methodology. 7 companies chose not to respond at all to their request for comment. BSN, Dymatize, Jocko Fuel, Muscle Milk, Owen, Plant Fusion, and Transparent Labs. Those are the ones that did not respond. Optimum Nutrition declined to comment, and Huel did not respond to questions about the amount of cadmium found in its products. Now, of those that did respond, many said that lead is a naturally occurring element that's difficult to avoid, particularly in plant-based products. 8 companies, Equip, Garden of Life, KOS, Momentous, Muscle Meds, Muscle Tech, Orgain, and Vega say they test both their ingredients and finished products for heavy metals. Okay, kudos to them. A spokesperson for Huel says that its ingredients undergo, quote, rigorous testing, and that the company is confident in the current formulation and safety of the products. Again, that's Huel. Naked Nutrition sources its ingredients from select suppliers that provide documentation attesting that they were checked for heavy metals. That's according to the chief marketing officer, James Clark. He said, quote, we take our customers' health very seriously, noting that Naked Nutrition has requested a third-party test of its mass gainer powder in response now to the findings of Consumer Reports. I am so happy to hear that. So there are penalties that have been paid. Like in total, by the way, Vega has paid about $336,000 in penalties to resolve allegations made back in 2013 and then again in 2018 that its products contained high levels of lead, cadmium, or other heavy metals without appropriate warning. So there are lawsuits that have taken place. Again, by the way, there's a huge article on this that I could continue to go on and on and on and read for you. Instead, I am going to pop this into the comments for you right now. You can do a deeper dive yourself. You can read and you can have it so that you can say, all right, I'm going to go to the ones that are better for me. I'm going to avoid the ones that Consumer Reports recommends. And then I'm going to use the ones maybe on a daily basis that they recommend. Donna said, used to use plugins and oils in-house until I see it's dangerous for humans and pets, trying to be more aware of household products. All right. I'm so glad you all brought that up because my husband loves to get, they're not Glade, I don't think, but he does get plugins and he loves them. I don't. I prefer candles, but then again, probably somebody's going to come out and say candles aren't good for us. Let's see. Rose, using Glade plugins is associated with health risks for both humans and pets due to the release of volatile compounds and other potentially harmful chemicals. Again, it would be so great to have people on a regular basis to talk about this. And for those of you that want to use these and are frustrated and are pulling them out of the outlets right now and saying, well, what can I use to make my home smell great? Especially when we have dogs, right? That's why we like to use it. So a lot of you, again, used to use them until you found out that they may have been bad for us. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about a lot of things today to get us to switch to healthier, more natural. As I mentioned, I've been reading from Consumer Reports, but literally, if I look, some protein powders contain high levels of lead, new report finds. That's the headline from today. From Forbes, protein powders and shakes found to contain high levels of lead. Forbes magazine. CBS, some protein powders and shakes contain high levels of lead and other metals. It goes on and on and on. So you're sitting there saying, what should I use? Plant-based proteins contain 3 times more lead than whey-based alternatives. So now, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go back to this one, my sea salt caramel one. I'm also going to look deeper now into this to find out some of the ingredients. I mean, there's a lot of ingredients in this. You look at this and it gives you a breakdown of different protein, different vitamins, allergens. It does contain milk, but then it has other ingredients. In that other ingredients, is that where the lead's coming from? Well, now I got to look before I put it in my body. I mean, I'm right there with you folks. But again, 3 times more lead than whey-based alternatives due to how plants absorb metals from the soil. Chocolate flavored powders had up to 110 times more cadmium than vanilla. Great. And I always opt for chocolate. Soy candles are good, Julie says. Okay. So essential oils, yes, I use essential oils as well. But from the smell standpoint, I love to just I have candles usually all over the house. Are we doing more harm than good? It's just crazy to think that this is even allowed. Don't you agree that it's even allowed in our food, in the ingredients that we use, in our cleaning aspects of life? I mean, it's frustrating. Tell me, right? It's frustrating. You're just sitting here saying, I am trying to do good, and this is what's happening to me. I hear you, folks. I'm right there with you. All right. So we didn't get a chance to do this in the beginning. And so let's just do this together. Our National Day of Calendar. What's on tap for you today? Let's find out. National Shawarma Day. Okay. Bra Day. Now, the other day, was it yesterday? Yesterday was no bra day. Now we're supposed to wear bras. National Esthetician Day. I want to go get a facial now. National Cheese Curd Day. You like those? Support your local Chamber of Commerce. That's important. National Fossil Day and Hagfish. Ew. Ugh. As we're all eating breakfast. National Hagfish Day. That's what's on tap for you. I looked through like news you can use, and I don't know if you saw, but R&B artist D'Angelo passed away. I saw that. A lot of people saying, thoughts and prayers to the family. As well, former Good Morning America co-host TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, they announced their engagement if you're into entertainment news. Let's see. Taylor Swift. Fans go wild after seeing Taylor Swift work out in chunky gold chain and tank top, and now they all want to buy it. This is what's trending. We talked about Alec Baldwin and his car crash. My husband literally said, so why is he in the news and why do we care? He's like, Monica, we were in car accidents. That didn't make the news. I was like, I don't know. Sometimes it really is. Why is this newsworthy? But the trending stories on Yahoo right now is Trump blasting Time magazine cover photo as the worst of all time, Taylor Swift's fans, Alec Baldwin, the Brewers double play, turning a potential grand slam by the Dodgers slugger Max Muncy into a wild double play, the View host calling RFK Jr. the least qualified health secretary in front of his wife. That's trending right now. So that's some of the national stuff. In local news, I was looking, and Amazon, I thought this was a good one for you. So take a look at your screen. I'm going to bring this one up for you. Amazon is hiring. And for many of you, this is something that maybe as the kiddos are coming back home for break, that you might say, hey, Amazon's hiring and this is a good job for you. Okay. So Amazon is hiring, and this is for the holiday season. They're hiring 250,000 people. The job openings include regular, full-time, part-time, and seasonal jobs for Amazon's fulfillment and transportation network across the United States. The regular and part-time workers, as you can see, they can earn an average of $23 an hour along with benefits. Seasonal employees earn an average of more than $19 an hour. The jobs will be posted through December on the Amazon job page. And they said that they're investing more than $1 billion into additional pay and benefits for its fulfillment and transportation workers. That will bring the average total compensation to more than $30 an hour when including the value of benefits. That's pretty amazing, right? And it's an opportunity, again, for them to do something, or for you to do something around the holidays. My brother worked for UPS, and I know they were always looking for help around the holidays. All right, Rose, all the stuff we can talk about. I need to put on another pot of coffee. Love talking life with you, Monica. Well, I'm glad. I've tried to do everything I can for your news you can use. Julie said I have diffusers all over the house. So your diffusers have essential oils. Is that correct, Julie? Because if so, that's what we'll do the switch. I mean, again, I can tell Jim right now, let's take those out of those outlets if they're doing us more harm than good. Okay, so let's see. Our St. Louis Blues, they are playing the Blackhawks tonight. Game time, it's a late one, by the way, 8:30. And then the Blues and the Stars on Saturday. And that game is a little earlier. They face off at 6 p.m. And then on Tuesday of next week, they play the Kings. That game is at 7. So again, Blackhawks today, 8:30. The Stars back here against the Blues on Saturday at 6 p.m. So that is a local game for us. Other than that, looking through, a lot of the local stuff. I mean, again, we didn't do a lot of news you can use today because I really wanted to go deeper into this whole aspect of what's in our food. That's the big story of the day. What's in our food? The news you can use has to do with lead in our protein powders. So just as I was getting ready to wrap up and go make a protein shake, I think I'm going to grab a hard-boiled egg instead. And then, of course, what? Down the line, they're going to tell us that eggs are not good for us. I swear. You know what? We just have to keep going. Let me give a plug to this one more time. Have you seen Soul on Fire? Thank you to John O'Leary and his team. Soul on Fire in theaters right now. It is absolutely incredible. Please go see it. It opened up in 5th place this past weekend, bringing in $3 million. And while that's incredible, I wanted to keep going. That momentum into week 2 or throughout the week. If you're looking for something to do, take your family, go see it again. I want to see it again with friends. It is just, again, I give it 5 out of 5 stars. John O'Leary, love you. He inspires on a daily basis. All right, folks, we're going to do Too Blessed to Be Stressed. It's called a 3-minute devotional for women. And I know that you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, that didn't take 3 minutes. What it is you read, first of all, the scripture. Oh, Julie said she loves Soul on Fire. I know, it was amazing, right? So you read the scripture verse and you sit with it for about a minute. Then I read you the breakdown. That takes a minute. And then there is the devotional side of it all, and that should take a minute. So a scripture to meditate on, a short devotional reading, and a prayer to jumpstart a conversation with God. Takes you about 3 minutes, and it's for men, women, children alike. Fear can be a good thing. That's today's. Don't panic. I'm with you. There's no need to fear, for I'm your God. I'll give you strength. I will help you. I'll hold you steady, and I'll keep a firm grip on you. Isaiah 41, verse 10. So right now, you read that, and then you marinate on it. You would meditate. Maybe you get in the cold plunge and you regulate your breathing, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, and you think about that scripture. Or you get out after about 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to read more. Papa God. And that's what in this book they call God, Papa God. Papa God gave us the emotion of fear for good reason. It serves a useful purpose to motivate us, move us forward, keep us from making mistakes. Sometimes fear saves us from ourselves. Why else would we faithfully squash our bosom buddies flat with mammograms without the possibility of that frightening C word invading our bodies? Get your mammograms, ladies. I'm right there with you. I am overdue for a mammogram. We could be out pounding the pavement if fear of losing our jobs didn't motivate us to get our reports in on time, or for all of you students to get that in for your homework. It's when fear becomes controlling that it debilitates, when it alters our course from the splendid women Papa God intended us to be and makes us settle for a wimpy, whiny imitation, or when it begins to dictate our thoughts and our behavior. So think about that. Dear Papa God, please help me to have a healthy attitude about fear. Let it spur me to action when needed, and let it always prompt me to pray and draw closer to you. Amen to that. And again, thank you, Michelle, for getting me this devotional. Too Blessed to Be Stressed. A lot of you like to get these and read along with us. This is from Deborah Cody, another one that I have. And thank you to Jennifer Bonacorsi for this one. It's called Fashioned by God. She knows I love my fashion. This is a 30-day devotional. And let me see. This one is from Catherine Graves. And then we've got, of course, 100 Days to Freedom from books. Those are Stephen Arterburn's books. We've got Jesus Calling, Jesus Calling, and Jesus Saves. Those are from Sarah Young. A lot of devotionals that we read from. Stephanie Doss Jones, how are you? Stephanie and I went to grade school together. She was one of many at Defiance Ridge Vineyards. Didn't you love it? She was with us at Defiance Ridge for the big get together that we had, our impromptu reunion from 8th grade. She said, I watched a special on autism last night, and they discussed what is in our food and our air being studied as a reason for the increase. Well, I guess what, Stephanie, I did that story and that report probably 15 years ago or 20 years ago. I was talking to a lady at my dentist office yesterday, and she was saying that her child had autism. And I said, oh, interesting. I did a story. It was either back in my WIL days or my KMOX days when I was doing my... Sorry, I turned my microphone off for a second. So I did that probably a good 15 to 20 years ago. And just from our immediate area, it found that there were a lot of parents who lived in Franklin County at the time that would come over and shop at Whole Foods because there wasn't Fresh Time, there wasn't Trader Joe's, et cetera, et cetera. And they would have to go to Whole Foods to get food and then go back to Franklin County. And they found that if they were changing what they were giving their children, that the autism, the ADD, the ADHD, it's not that it was erasing it, but the symptoms subsided. And I remember talking to the doctor back then thinking, if that's not a wake-up call, what is? Not just what you're giving your children, but you need to be paying attention and reading labels and researching and educating yourself on what you're putting in your own bodies, in your kids' bodies, and in our pets' bodies. As I mentioned, this is a very powerful show today that a lot of you sat and listened and watched, and now I want you to share. Share this like crazy, because I want all of your family, all of your friends, all of your followers, all of your coworkers to understand that there are dangerous levels of lead, cadmium, other chemicals in those protein powders. And there are some that are worse than others. There's some that maybe you should limit to once a week, and there are some that maybe can be daily consumed. But we all need to think back and replace all this supplementation with whole foods. The whole foods are really what's going to be saving us. And as we get into fall, by the way, introduce yourself to root vegetables. Roast those root vegetables. Make your house smell amazing. That can take place at the candles, by the way. Linda, good morning to you. I hope you're having a great start to your day. All right, well, that's how we're going to wrap up. And I hope you got educated today. I hope you got the aha moment. And again, I just hope that it's not about fear. It's not about, holy cow, what have I been doing? It's about making those small incremental changes to take care of you, right? Self-care, so very important. Tomorrow, Jessica Cook, myself, we will be at Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue with a little positive talk time. Friday, our Foodie Friday, I'm going to be in our Slyman Brothers kitchen making up some chili, because as we go into the weekend and into next week, again, the temperature is changing. We're definitely getting into fall-like weather. This is chili time. I'm going to introduce you, though, to vegan chili, a couple of different batches that we're going to make up. And a lot of those, you're welcome, Stephanie. A lot of those are from Melissa Costello, a brilliant chef. She was the private chef, actually, to Tony Horton. She is a dietitian as well. And so if some of you want to give a little break sometimes to animal-based proteins, what would you use in that chili? Well, I'll give you that on Friday. So we've got 3 shows before we head into the weekend. This afternoon, 4 o'clock, a little Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, and we'll be featuring maybe 2 Wolves wine, maybe some other things. You grab a drink and join me at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow, 7 a.m., Yuppie Puppies Positive Talk Time. Friday, Foodie Friday, again with Slyman Brothers. So thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors. And if you would like to become a sponsor, you would like for us to do a mobile Monica taking the show on the road from your business, just reach out to me. My email address, again, info@therealmonicaadams.com. And for a future wellness or workout Wednesday, let us know those topics that you would like for us to talk about and guests that you would like for us to have on as well. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for getting inspired and educated, and looking forward to seeing you later this afternoon. Until then, if you can't join us, remember, be kind to everyone and yourself. God bless.